Hi friends, welcome to daily answer writing practice. Today is 28th of September. I have framed a very analytical question. See, the question goes like this: why has the share of manufacturing not increased even after so many schemes and initiatives of Government of India? How different is the PLI scheme from the previous attempts of Government of India? Will it succeed in boosting the manufacturing critically examined? So there are three parts to the question. First part says that why has the share of manufacturing not increased even after so many schemes and initiatives of Government of India? So this is the first part. The second part of the question says that how different is the PLI scheme from the previous attempts of Government of India? So previously you must be knowing that Government of India had various schemes like Make in India, okay, which could not, okay, boost the manufacturing. So how is this PLI scheme different from that? And third, will it succeed? So let me first give you the context in which I have framed this question. So see, this month, okay, Raghuram Rajan, okay, spoke about, okay, the PLI scheme, and he criticized the PLI scheme, saying that it will not be sustainable. It will not be sustainable because it is a subsidy driven scheme. On the other hand, government is basically promoting PLI scheme, saying that PLI scheme will make Indian economy a competitive economy, and it will boost the exports. So let us try to understand this scheme, and let us try to answer this question, guys. So let's start. Since the first part of the question says why has the share of manufacturing not increased, so we need data. Okay, we need data to substantiate this. First of all, to prove that yes, the share of manufacturing has not increased, so we can say that, okay, in the last 30 years the manufacturing sector share in GDP has been stagnating at around 16%. Here we can say in bracket, okay, in 1989-90 it was 16.4%, and in 2018-19 it is somewhere around, it was somewhere around 16.2%. So this data we have given, okay, that the manufacturing share has been stagnating around 16%. Okay, so this we have given fact. Then we will give a heading, okay, causes responsible for stagnant share of manufacturing in India. We'll change the, see, we have to divide the answer in various parts. Okay, so we will give a heading. Then first point we will give that poor infrastructure. Guys, recently you must have, okay, read in the newspapers that logistics cost in India is very high. You can say that the cost of logistics, because of poor infra, is very high. Okay, bracket we can say 14% of the GDP. This results in Indian goods becoming costly and uncompetitive. Second, poor infrastructure. Second point will say that rigid labor laws. India's formal sector labor laws are one of the most rigid laws in the world. This discourage entrepreneurs as they don't enjoy the flexibility of hire and fire. Third, complex land acquisition process. Due to scarcity of land acquisition is really a big challenge. Next point, what we can say, fourth point, we can say cost of capital. India is a capital scarce country and cost of credit is exorbitant for industry. Next point, what we can say is low R&D. India spends less than 2% of GDP on R&D. This prevents firms from becoming innovative and productive. Then we have written like 1, 2. Okay, we have written 2 points. Then 3, 4, 5. Okay, 5 points. What else we can write? We can write infrastructure is done. Okay, then we can write regulations. Due to multiplicity of regulations, ease of doing business is not very high, although in recent times some improvement has been made. Okay, so I think 6 points are more than enough. Then we'll come to the PLI scheme. Okay, then we'll change the paragraph. Okay, PLI and manufacturing. We'll say that in 2020, Government of India introduced PLI to make India manufacturing globally competitive. exports. The scheme was based on incentives which would be given for any value addition in India. So okay, you can read the question again. You can read the question again. What the question is saying is that how it is different, how PLI scheme is different from previous attempts of government. So here we have to first explain what is PLI and then explain how PLI is different from the previous efforts. So we can say that this scheme is based on fiscal subsidy which is different from previous initiatives like Make in India and National Manufacturing Policy. So this you must highlight this. This scheme is based on fiscal subsidy. Then we have to criticize. We have to critically examine it. Okay, will it succeed or not? So we'll write critical examination of PLI. We can either write here in table form positives and write negatives here, positives of PLI, negatives of PLI. Okay. So first we will write, first positive is it would boost value addition in Indian manufacturing. Second, it would attract investments like recent Foxconn investment in Gujarat. It would create jobs. It would help India integrate in the global value chain. Negatives, see, you can say according to Raghu Ram Rajan, the PLI scheme is based on subsidy. This would be unsustainable because when subsidies will be taken away, manufacturing base can move out of India. Second, it would burden the taxpayers. Third, it would not improve the competitiveness of Indian economy in long run. Fourth, according to Department of Industrial Promotion and Policy, okay, and Niti Aayog, there is lack of objective criteria to judge value addition in terms of jobs or investments. To sum up, in short term, PLI may help to raise share of manufacturing in India, but we can't ignore systemic issues like labor law reform, infrastructure deficit, land acquisition, funding, way forward, implement national logistics policy, implement national infra pipeline, next implement the labor code with states cooperation. For help create land banks for industries. Fifth, invest more in R&D. In the end, only manufacturing sector can generate sufficient jobs to pull workforce out of agriculture. Therefore, it is of paramount importance to increase its share in GDP. Guys, you can see here, we can underline these important schemes. Okay, I'll just go through the question again. I'll show you. I hope you like the answer. Okay, It was a 15 marks question, so obviously it was a big question, 250 words. So there were 3 parts to it. So this is the introduction. You see in the introduction how I gave facts to prove that the manufacturing is stagnant at 16%. Then since the question was saying why has the share of manufacturing not increased, so I've given points. Okay, poor infrastructure, rigid labor laws, complex land acquisition, 3 points. Then cost of capital, 4 point, low R&D, 5 point, regulation, 6 points. So we can easily expect here 6 marks for 6 points, and introduction you can expect 1.5 marks. Okay, then PLI scheme, I have explained the PLI scheme, okay, briefly. It is based on fiscal incentives, which is different from the previous schemes like Make in India and National Manufacturing Policy. So the second part of the answer has been also answered. And then the third part of the answer, critically examine. So in critical examine, you have to write the positives and you have to also write the negatives. Here I have given the main problem with the PLI scheme, which is it is subsidy driven, and since it is subsidy driven, it is not sustainable. Okay, and then it burdens the taxpayer, it does not increase the competitiveness of economy, and even the government organizations like Niti Aayog and Department of Industrial Promotion, okay, has said that there is no objective criteria. Okay, on the other hand, there are some positives. It might attract investments, it might lead to job creation, it might also help India to integrate in the value chain. Overall, we need to improve the systemic reforms. For example, we need to implement the national logistics policy to improve the logistics. We need to improve the infrastructure, national infrastructure pipeline, then labor code, then cooperatives, basically land banks, and then research and development. Overall, we need to improve manufacturing share, because otherwise we will not become a developed economy. To become a developed economy, manufacturing is a must. Okay, so I hope you like the answer. Guys, if you like the answer, please hit the like button and please let me know, okay, should I continue with this initiative? Is it adding value to your preparation? Thank you friends. Bye bye. Take care.